Good morning. Today we'll start with refrigeration cycles. So absorption refrigeration systems, another form of refrigeration that becomes economically attractive when there is a source of inexpensive thermal energy at a temperature of 100 to 200 is absorption refrigeration. Some examples of inexpensive thermal energy sources include geothermal energy, solar energy and waste heat from cogeneration or process steam plants, and even natural gas when it is available at relatively low price. As the name implies, absorption refrigerant system involve the absorption of the refrigerant by a transport medium, which most is the in case of water. So ammonia is used as a refrigerant here. So apart from ammonia, there are another absorption systems like lithium bromide, water lithium chloride systems, where water serves as refrigerant. The later two systems are limited to applications such as air conditioning, where minimum temperature is above the freezing point of water. To understand the basic principles involved in absorption refrigeration, we examine the ammonia water system shown in figure. The ammonia water refrigeration machine was patented by Frenchman in 1859. Within a few years, the machines based on this principle were being built in United States primarily to make ice and store food. You will immediately notice from the figure that this system looks very much like the vapor compression system, except the compressor has been replaced by complex absorption mechanism consisting of an absorber, a pump, a generator, a regenerator, a valve and a rectifier. Once the pressure is raised by the components in the box, this is the only thing they are set up to do so. It is cooled and condensed in condenser by rejecting heat to surrounding, is throttled to the evaporator pressure and absorbs heat from the refrigerated space as it flows through a evaporator. So there is nothing new. Here is what we had. So this is part is your generator, to which heat is supplied with the help of this solar energy. So ammonia and water temperature will be raised. So after this you can say temperature is raised, ammonia vapor go to the rectifier, where any water is removed from the ammonia and pure ammonia will go to the condenser. Then it will lose its heat to warm environment. Then ammonia will come to the expansion valve. This will go to the evaporator after expansion, and this pure ammonia will take cold refrigerator, means take heat from the cold refrigerator space, and then this pure ammonia is go to the absorber. Now absorber is a component where this ammonia is absorbed back into water. During the absorption process, as we know, the lot of heat is, you can say, released by the absorber. So this heat is taken by the cooling water which is circulated through the absorber. It will dumped into taken by this cooling water, and this ammonia and water will now go to pump. This pump will again supply this ammonia to the generator back. Now part of the heat is taken by the regenerator from this ammonia water mixture. So part of the heat is transferred. So this part is called regenerator. So this is a ammonia absorption refrigeration system with regenerator, generator, rectifier and absorber. So the function of this dotted line, this component here, is the same as the function of the compressor. So this system will raise the pressure of the ammonia. The function is same as the in case of the compressor, but as compared to compressor, this is replaced by a solar energy heat source, generator, rectifier, regenerator and absorber and a water pump. Now since here during the water pump, you can say this this circulating pump, or you can say W pump, this will has to, you can say, raise the pressure of only liquid. So as compared to the vapor compression cycle, the pump work will decrease significantly in this case. So it is very little as compared to, or you can say in some cases it is 1 to 2% as compared to the heat taken by the solar energy. So pump work is neglected in this case. So this is the advantage. While in case of other cycles, the compressor work, because it has to compress vapor phase, is much larger due to the large specific volume of the vapors. Ammonia water leaves the evaporator and enters the absorber, where it dissolves and reacts with water to form ammonia and H2O. So this ammonia will attach with the water, it will form ammonia H2O and heat will release to the environment. So this is the exothermic process. the amount of ammonia that can be dissolved in H2O is inversely proportional to temperature. Means if higher is the temperature, the dissolving capacity of water will decrease. If temperature is lower, the dissolving capacity of ammonia will increase. So therefore it is necessary to cool the absorber to maintain its temperature as low as possible, hence to minimize the amount of ammonia dissolved, hence to maximize the amount of ammonia dissolved in water. The liquid ammonia H2O solution, which is rich in ammonia, is then pumped to the generator. Means whatever the rich ammonia water solution, this is the rich solution here. So this will go to the generator. Heat is transferred to the solution from a source to vaporize some of this solution. The vapor which is rich in ammonia passes through active air. Now ammonia has a tendency to vaporize earlier as compared to water. So in generator, ammonia will detach from the water and it will get vaporized. The high pressure pure ammonia vapor then continue its journey through the rest of cycle. The rest of cycle is same as compared to the vapor compression cycle as the same. Now compared with the vapor compression system, absorption refrigeration system have one major advantage. Absorption refrigeration system have one major advantage. A liquid is compressed instead of vapor. Here your liquid is compressed instead of vapor. The steady flow work is proportional to specific volume, and thus the work input for absorption refrigeration system is very small and often neglected in the cycle analysis. The operation of these systems is based on heat transfer from an external source. Therefore, absorption refrigeration systems are often classified as heat driven system. The absorption refrigeration systems are much more expensive than the vapor compression refrigeration system. They are more complex and occupy more space, and they are much less efficient than requiring much larger cooling towers to reject the waste heat, and they are more difficult to service since they are less common. Therefore, the absorption refrigeration system should be considered only when unit cost of thermal energy is low. So the coefficient of performance of absorption refrigeration system is desired output by required input. Desired output is QL, required input is the Q generation plus work pump. So mean this Q generation is input, work pump is the output, and desired output is the QL amount of the heat. Now one thing is to be noted that in the absorber ammonia water rich mixture is formed, and when it is circulated and sent to the generator, a weak mixture, after the evaporation of ammonia, a weak mixture is left. So this weak mixture is sent back to here in the absorber, and this circle is completed. The maximum coefficient of performance of an absorption refrigeration system is determined by assuming that the entire cycle is totally reversible. It means cycle involves no reversibilities and any heat transfer is through a differential temperature difference. The refrigeration system would be reversible if the heat from a source Qgen were transferred to a Carnot heat engine, and the work output of the heat engine W is equal to efficiency thermal reversible into Qgenation is supplied to a Carnot refrigerator to remove heat from the refrigerator space. Note that QL is equal to the work into COP of reversible cycle is equal to efficiency, thermal efficiency or reversible into Qgenation into COP of reversible. Then the overall COP of absorption refrigeration system under reversible conditions become, so COP refrigeration system is equal to QL by Qgen, which is equal to efficiency thermal reversible for COP for reversible refrigerator, which is equal to 1 minus T0 by Ts into TL by T0 minus S, where TL, T0 and Ts are thermodynamic temperatures of the refrigerator space, the environment and the heat source respectively. Any absorption refrigeration system that releases heat from a source at Ts and removes heat from the refrigerator space at TL while operating in environment at T0 has a lower COP than the one determined from equation this. For example, when the source is at 120 degrees Celsius, the refrigerator space is at minus 10 degrees Celsius, and the environment is 25 degrees Celsius, the maximum COP that an absorption refrigeration system can have is 1.8. The COP factor of refrigeration system is usually less than 1. So determine the maximum COP in absorption refrigeration system. So this is the given here, the maximum COP which you can operate. The suppose heat source is Ts from which heat is taken. So this amount of heat is taken by reversible heat engine, which will produce double amount of work, and suppose efficiency of this reversible cycle is efficiency reversible. So what is the work output of this reversible heat engine, which is equal to efficiency reversal into whatever heat supplied, and this QL heat is left to the environment. Now for this work is used to run a reversible refrigerator which will take heat from low temperature and supply it to the at environment at T0. Okay, so now you can see here, definitely this environment temperature is lower than the source temperature and this refrigerator temperature is lesser than the environment temperature. So the heat carried by this is depended on, so you can see for this reversible refrigerator, so this is the efficiency of reversible refrigerator. So when you got after product of this efficiency of this and efficiency of this, you will get the total coefficient of performance of reversible absorption system. So this is up to here about the absorption efficiency system. Subscribe this channel, like this video, and thank you for watching this video.